cool. First off, Alice and Sarah, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today. I need to ask you right off the bat. It's 2021. It's a new year. Resident Alien is finally going to be premiering next week. After all this time, how's it feeling now that it's going to get in front of eyeballs?
Honestly, at this point, we're just like, it's like we were excited, and then we were like, okay, this is getting too much. And then we were excited again, and then we were like, oh, it's getting too, and then we're excited again. So I just hope it hits on a peak, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's been 2 years and some change, 2.5 years since we started the pilot, and then we're waiting to get picked up for season 1, and then waiting to start, and then pandemic. We literally had 2 weeks left at the end of our shoot when we had to go back in September and October of 2020. So we are more
right
for this premiere. Please.
Can I tell you something, Ray Fluke?
Sure.
I love your name.
And you said my full name. You won me over already.
And you, because you have like the sea captain hat. Okay, so you got it going on. But I've worked on several shows that have been picked up, then like shelved, then re-picked up, then sent to, like some netherworld in Siberia, and then come back. So it takes years to make some of the shows I worked on. And this is the one time I can say when I'm like, it is worth it. Like, it is worth every bullshit excuse me, like thing where we had to pandemic away from the it's totally worth it. And that's why I am actually excited. It's like, oh, it's a warm and fuzzy.
Well, I mean, to let you both know, reader wise on our end, the buzz for it has remained consistent. Even during our coverage during COVID time and everything like that, we were definitely getting really good responses. So that's the good sign going into next week. So
yes.
if I can
sort of like my pandemic leg hair, the fuzz has remained consistent.
We are really fortunate to have her pandemic leg hair, and also a team of people behind us, NBCU and SYFY and comics. Everyone has just like pulled together, Amblin, to like really put this out there under this wonderful of advertisement and trying to get the word out there to get the show to be seen. And I'm so glad to hear you're saying that there's a buzz.
Definitely.
Yeah. Don't tell Chris Sheridan, but it is all because of him and the work that he put in on the back end on this show, and the heart and soul he put into it. But we don't want him to know, because we don't want him to like stop working really hard. So he's almost killing himself all the time. The
compliments in small doses. It's the best way to go.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. We got to keep that hamster wheel moving.
As you mentioned this, so I want to ask this of both of you. In a sea of programming, whether it's cable, broadcast, or streaming, what is it from your perspective? How would you pitch Resident Alien to somebody who's going through their dial?
It's got a coziness to it, that the kind of show that you see now that's really compelling. There's a lot of like, Watchmen comes to mind. These shows that have really interesting, fun, and very creative approaches to the new sci-fi plot line. It has that element, but it has this like kind of throwback 90s coziness to it that maybe like a Twin Peaks or a Northern Exposure had, because it's set in this like ski town. And I love that kind. That's why people watch British television all the time, because it has this like, ooh, people are always coming in from a snowstorm type of thing. And I think that comes through not only in like the set piece, but also in the way the relationships form.
Yeah, I think one of the things I would tell people if they've never heard of the show before is that it's this really like fun, quirky, awkward, relatable comedy drama that if you're not into sci-fi, like don't be worried. Like, it just so happens that there's an alien who takes over a human body, but the rest of this story is all about just like all of us dealing with our own personal shit, like we're all just trying to figure out who we are, how we belong, including, the alien who happened to just crash land on Earth.
Yeah.
Excellent. I have to ask, because I always make this the mandatory question, outside of course, watching Resident Alien, what are your geek dirty habits? What are your hobbies? What are you watching? What are you reading? What are you listening to? What gets you through a day?
Well, I
Mhm.
have a Star Trek podcast, so
Yeah. I have a Zelda tattoo. So there's that.
yeah.
That dropping Star Trek and Zelda in my response. I have absolutely you two take the prize for this week for interviews. Those are the best answers I've gotten
It's
so
always
far.
fun to drop our geek bona fides because it's just a surprise,
Yeah.
at the end. Little cherry on top.
Yeah,
Again, I just want to say congratulations on the show. We haven't done the formal review yet, but I've loved it. It's fantastic, and I wish you both nothing but the best with it. Really looking
Thank
forward.
you so much, Ray.
No problem.
Really
Thank you
good to
both.
meet you.
Yes, thanks for coming. You are actually bleeding cool. I can see it.
Oh, I like that. You know, I'll be clipping that like crazy to my boss. Thank you so
There,
much.
you got the clip.
Thank you, Ray.